I bees in the trap, bees in the trap. I bees in the trap.
Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know who it is. It's your girl Rari, and I am back with another tutorial. I know y'all loving the tutorials, so why not give y'all another one? In this tutorial, I am going to show y'all how to do a sew-in over dreads. So I have my beautiful mother here with me today, and she's had her dreads for a little bit over 10 years, so she has a nice amount of length on her dreads, but she wanted to switch it up. So I said, why not do it for my YouTube channel? Why not show my subscribers how to do this technique? So she wanted to do some curly hair, so that's what we're going to do today. When you're doing a sew-in over dreadlocks, you're going to do it the same way you would do a regular sew-in. So you're going to braid it down, you're going to sew the ends down, you're going to do everything the same way you would do if you was doing a regular sew-in. The only difference is you have to make sure that you're braiding a little bit tighter. I mean, your braid tight no matter what, but with dreads you need to braid a little bit tighter because you want it to be flatter. You still want a flat foundation. I personally will recommend to do curly hair over dreadlocks if they're longer, because your foundation is going to be thicker because you're going to have more hair. You know, the ends of the braids are going to be thicker. So, yeah, I recommend curly hair. Some people do straight, which is completely fine. You'll still get a bomb look because hers look just like scalp, like you'll see at the end. But I recommend curly hair. So let's get into it here. As you can see, I am braiding her hair down. You won't do the same, like you can't do a beehive obviously because the dreadlocks are thick and long. So you're going to do cornrows. You want to braid her hair from the front to the back, just straight back cornrows, and then you'll take the ends and you'll sew the ends down. You don't want to do the feed in. I don't recommend to do the feed in method with dreadlocks because it's going to make the braids even bulkier. As in, when I say feed in, I mean braid to the ends and then pull that braid into the next braid, like the tail of the braid up into the next braid. I don't recommend to do that because it's going to make your braids even thicker than what they already are. So I recommend to just braid them all the way down to the end, all of the braids straight to the end, and then we're going to sew those up, which you'll see later here in this video. Um, Another thing is if their braids are thinner, you can do smaller braids. But if their braids are thicker, like bigger dreads, they're going to look bigger no matter what. There's really no way to make them super thin unless you do like individual braids and sew them down, which is going to take hours. So just to give you a heads up on that. So don't feel like, oh my God, why are my braids thick? Because that's normal because they're dreadlocks. So they're thicker than normal hair. They're going to be thick from the root to the end, obviously, because their hair combined together. So I'm just going to let y'all kind of get into it. We're going to get into me just braiding her hair. I'll let you guys watch. I'll speed it up a little bit, but not too much to where you cannot see. But I don't want to keep y'all here all day. So let's get into it. All right, so as y'all can see, we're coming to the end of me getting her hair braided down, and we just doing the cornrows straight to the back. So now I'm going to submit a picture of me and my mama with her cornrows, and then her feeling herself with a selfie with her cornrows. All right, y'all. So now let's get into how we sew the braids up. So now I'm just gonna go in and I'm actually going to sew those tail end of the braids right up into the braids, the other braids. You know, just like I was telling y'all earlier. So let's do it. All right, so here we go, a better view. I had to switch the camera so that y'all can see me actually sewing the ends down. So as you can see, I'm just pulling the ends of the braids up onto the braids that's braided onto her scalp, and sewing them onto there. So when you do this, this is a pretty tedious step here, because the longer the hair, the harder it's going to get, because you have to like bend the braids up and then bend them back down and then bend them back up. If their hair is short, this step is going to be a breeze. You're literally, if their hair is short, you probably can just pull the ends up into the next braid, like I was saying earlier, but you can't do that if their dreads is longer. So my mom's dreads was pretty long, as y'all can see, so I had to actually sew these onto the braids, onto the scalp. So here's a better view. I'm going to let y'all just see this. I'm not going to fast forward it. I'm going to just let y'all watch it at the regular pace, regular speed, so y'all can see exactly how to do this step, because this step is actually important, and you do want to sew tight when you're doing this step as well. So let's do it. me sewing her ends down. And here we go. Now you guys can see. If you notice, I'm putting her closure on the side, so I made sure not to bring those braids too far up on that right side. And you'll see exactly where I place it here on the next step. So I got her ends sewn all the way down. So the next step here is, since my mom is going to actually glue her closure down, she's going to do the frontal look closure. I'm going to put this cap on over her dreads to make her new scalp. So when you're doing this step, it's going to be a little bit weird because you got to pull it over their face because I use stockings. Some people use like regular wig caps. Everybody got their own technique. Me personally, I like use stockings. I like to use stockings because stockings are thin and they're closer to the skin complexion. They come in different complexions. I personally use nude and coffee. Those two are like light skin and darker complexion. So I use those two. So I'll kind of just let y'all watch me do this step. I feel like watching me, you can kind of see what you have to do. All right, so I have her edges gelled down, and now I'm having her hold the cap, and I'm going to measure exactly where I'm going to put the closure at. So I'm placing the closure on her head so that I can see exactly where I'm going to place it. And after I do that, I'm going to go and sew the cap onto her head right under where that closure will lay. So you'll see here, I measure it, get exactly where I want it to be. Then I'm going to take my needle and thread, which I already have my needle threaded, and I'm going to sew the cap down. The whole time I have her holding this cap, and the reason being is because I don't want it to move at all. I want that gel to dry exactly where I laid it at. I want the cap to stick. I don't want it to move. I want it to stay exactly where I had her place it at. So she's holding it the whole time. And you want to do this with anything, with frontals and everything. All right, so now the cap is on, and I've sewn down exactly where I want the cap to for sure be at, right under her closure. So I'm just going to go around here and cut it off. Cut the cap, the excess cap off that I'm not going to be using. All right. So now I cut the cap. I put some foundation on the cap to match her skin because that's her new scalp. And then we're just going to sew that closure right above that cap. And there we go. This is her closure sewn on. I haven't glued it down yet. This is it just sewn on. I actually have a new technique. I recorded this video about a month ago. I have a new technique for my frontal look closure. So that video will be coming soon. But for now, we're going to stick with this technique. So then you just want to move forward with sewing the bundles in. And as you can see, that's all I'm doing here. I'm just doing the regular sewing technique, the flip method. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's all I'm going to do until we get to the end. Alright, so at this point of the sewing, all of the hair is sewn in, the closure is sewn down, the bundles are sewn in. It's still kind of full, as you can see, it's kind of bulky, but all the hair is in. The closure has not been cut yet. Her lace is still on her closure. I haven't defined her part yet. Basically, the hair is just installed. I wanted to come back in on this part so that you guys could kind of see the next few steps here. And if we stop talking, we can get to the next step. All right, so since her hair is curly, obviously we're gonna wet her hair. Oh, I thought we were gonna wet her hair, but obviously, oh, she's feeling herself, y'all. I can tell by how she's chewing her gum. She's feeling herself. But anyway, I obviously left a thread in there that I just had to cut out. So there's that thread cut. She's still chewing her gum, thinking that she's fine. She's feeling her curly hair. She haven't even seen it yet, but she's feeling it as she should, and that's just that on that. Period. Okay, no, for real, I'm done playing, y'all. So the next step is to cut the lace off, and the lace, what I'm going to use to cut the lace is a straight blade, like a razor. You can use like an eyebrow archer. You can use scissors and kind of just cut in a zigzag motion. I use a razor and eyebrow archer mainly because they give kind of like that jagged cut. It's not like a straight cut, so it don't look like a wig. So that's why I prefer those two, but do what fits best for you. So right now we're cutting this lace. Let's get this lace cut. Then it's really about to look like Scalpiana. She's asking me about how she should keep her hair up. What she should do to keep her hair up. Do y'all know my mom only kept this hair in for 2 days? We did all of this and she kept it in for 2 days. Crazy, right? Crazy. Parents. Alright, so the next step here is going to be the baby hairs. Y'all know we love our baby hairs. I had to get it close up for y'all because I know everybody, we all want to know how to slay these baby hairs. So the way I do mine, I hate that it's not as clear as I wanted it to be. It's because I recorded further back, and right now I'm like zooming in on the video that was recorded further back. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, that's what I did. So the way I do my baby hairs, y'all, I take out small sections. So I found out like the thinner you do them, the more natural they look. Because people don't have real thick, full baby hairs or long baby hairs. So I do mine thin and I do mine short. I've noticed that the thinner you do them and the shorter you cut them, they just look a lot more natural. So y'all gonna see at the end exactly how her baby hairs came out. But this is my technique. Again, as I always tell y'all, this is mine. Whatever works for you, you do for you. This is what works for me. You can try it, and if it works for you, that's amazing. If not, then go back to your technique. Cool? Cool. All right. So I have her hairs pulled out here, and I always section these out just so I can see exactly where I want to place them first. I can see what the hair going to look like, all of them at the same time before I start cutting anything. Because I want to make sure I have enough space on that closure to bend them and flip them and gel them the way I want them to. The way I want to. So I use the eyebrow archer to cut the baby hairs as well because I don't like them to look all blunt, like with scissors. I don't think that they look natural enough. So I'm gonna use the eyebrow archer to cut it. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know why my brain just went blank. But yeah, as you can see, I'm kind of cutting them at an angle with the eyebrow archer. So after I cut them, I come in with my product and I just gel them down in place where I want them to go. I use Gorilla Snot in a yellow bottle to do my baby hairs. Sometimes I use Nairobi foam, but for this specific install, I wanted her baby hairs to stay intact. So I use the Gorilla Snot. The Gorilla Snot makes them hold for longer than the Nairobi. The Nairobi is a more soft look. So, yep. I'm just laying them and I'm using my little edge brush to place them into place. And then the final step, I'm going to have her hold that hair and I'm going to take my styling strip and I'm going to wrap that around her edges while I lay her closure down so to keep them baby hairs intact. I now use a silk wrap. You can use anything that'll hold them, keep your baby hairs in place. Now you see she's holding my son. That's my stinky baby. While I am flattening her closure out. I'm using a hot comb. You can use a hot comb, a wand, a curling iron, something really hot, just to seal that hair and flatten it out so it don't look as bulky. And this is going to be the final step. And as we all know, the final step, cut that strip, rip them baby hairs out. Hey, hey, let's do it. Let's get it. Hey, hey. All right, y'all. So that's it. We wet the hair. We got the part done. Let's zoom in. Let's get into it. Boom. Scalpiana. Baby hair's laid. I'm going to put some pictures in here for y'all so y'all can see the final touch. Y'all see my sticky man. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Comment anything that you guys want me to post. Different topics, different videos, all of that. I hope I showed you everything you needed to see. Thanks. Love y'all. Bye-bye.
In the trap, bees in the trap. I bees in the trap.